How you doing, Ishi?
That wasn't the start I expected.
Well,
I thought it was gonna be, "What's up, guys?"
I don't do that. It's not my sort of thing. It's not my jam. But I can do that. What's up? What's up? It's your boy. It's your boy Gooch.
Oh, no.
Coming right back at you.
Oh god.
Should have never named my PS4. I'm surprised PS4 let me get away with that.
No, it's quite disgusting.
I mean, Divider. I guess Divider.
You sound like a conqueror.
A conqueror of my own Gooch.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm the only person conquering my own Gooch. Otherwise, that would be kind of worrying. Be my guest. Once we're married, of course.
I can conquer your Gooch.
Then you can conquer
Oh.
it. Only that'll be part of the vows.
Babe.
Yeah, part of my vows is to have someone conquer my Gooch, and it'll be
Your
great.
parents will be so impressed.
My parents are giving my Gooch away, effectively. But not that that has anything to do with anything that we're going to talk about.
No.
So, but it was a good way to start.
Good
Anyway,
start.
I'm glad we started off with my my naughty
your
PS4.
Gooch.
Yeah, my naughty PS4 name. But yeah, I guess we'll start with a favourite childhood game. So,
Well, you need to get it started by going, so today we're going to speak about
I don't do
games.
that. I don't. There's no.
Or
no,
something
there's no
like that.
introduction.
They don't know what we're talking about.
There's no introductions to anything. It's just
We just go straight in.
It's peaks and troughs. Everything's peaks and troughs. I'll come out with a peak moment, but then trough straight afterward. I just don't know how to announce something. It's just weird when you announce it yourself, and then everyone's like, "What? What you know?"
No, because you need to start it off. Otherwise, they'll go on the video and they'll be like, "Oh, what are they talking about? Dividing a gooch?"
That's where my interesting anecdotes come in and get you hooked into what I'm saying. Sometimes
Okay.
you don't need just a title there. You just need
You need to go straight
you need
in.
an interesting story. You need a ragtag bunch of gooches, just to get everyone on side. But I'll let you start. We haven't seen each other's picks for
List,
this,
yeah.
so I'll let
Okay.
you start. So
these.
we'll go one. So you go one, and then I'll go one.
Okay, so these are our top favourite childhood games. So my first one is Pokemon Red and Blue.
I mean, I literally cannot comment because I've never played a Pokemon game,
So,
which is blasphemous in itself.
That is
It's just
disgusting.
it's just awful.
That is disgusting.
You don't get to shoot people.
No, Game Boy. I remember little old Ishi got the Game Boy a couple of years late because my mum always bought me stuff a lot later than it should have been, and then it came with Pokemon, and I was like, I'm in.
So I got a game. So my sister got a Nintendo DS.
Of course she
when
did.
she was like, whoa, didn't talk about the inner austerity of my family. When she was like, what, 8, and I must have been 10, and I was like, oh, DSs are for girls, I'll have a Game Boy. And then I had a Game Boy and then realised all the games my sister can play on her DS, and I started crying.
Oh, poor
I was
little
really,
Jacob.
really upset with having a Game Boy. But yeah, continue.
Wait, it's your turn now, so yeah.
You're just happy with that?
I'm happy
you've
with
got nothing
Pokemon.
else to say on it?
I feel like no one needs to explain Pokemon. Everyone
You
knows.
do to me because I'm an illiterate idiot who's never played one.
You just go around your little towns. You beat
which
the gym
Russian
members.
continent, which Russian controlled state do you have to destroy in order for a win?
So so the gym members are different Nazis.
And
once you beat a Nazi,
my
then
type.
you win the gym.
So it's a war game.
It's a war game.
Oh,
it's
we
totally
love-
a war
and
game.
is there Battle Royale aspects to this? Is it last group wins? Is that the way it works?
So it's survival of the fittest.
Oh,
Sometimes you have to kill off a couple Pokemon so you can go a bit faster
okay.
because they weigh you down a little bit. Other times you can keep them. It depends. It's just
Does that mean that there's one cosplay for this and 2 porn?
there are both. In fact, there's so much in abundance of cosplay and porn on Pokemon.
One or the other will be fine. One usually leaks into the other.
Yeah.
But I've kind of cheated because I've got 2 Crash Bandicoot games.
Oh,
Because
Snake.
I'll go with the I think this came out earlier. Crash Bash.
Okay.
Remember? Do you ever play Crash Bash?
No, I never played Crash Bandicoot. I didn't have a PS, like a PlayStation.
So
when I was
you're
younger.
mocking me for
I had
Pokemon.
Yeah, I only had Nintendo, so I had like Nintendo Wii, I had DS, and I had like a Game Boy beforehand, but I never had a PlayStation.
So I had Crash Bash on PS1. I had to play it on the PlayStation 2 though at the time because they took away backwards compatibility, but it used to work so well.
How dare they?
Crash Bash was like a Mario Party, but for Crash Bandicoot. So you got to play as like Tiny and Cortex and all the others, and there was just like lots of like weird mini games, it doesn't hold up today at all.
Yeah.
In fact, if you type it in YouTube, they're like, "Is this the worst game that has ever been made?" I'm like,
But
favorite game.
But when you were younger, you obviously
When I
loved
was
it.
younger, I vibe with it. But then also I had Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex as well, which
Okay.
is Crash Bandicoot 2.
So what you're saying is you're a Crash Bandicoot whore.
I am. Well, not really, because I only get to with one game. Like, wait, no, I mean multiple games within one series. Basically, not only would I fuck your brother, but I'd fuck your dad. That's the way it would work.
Yeah, okay, I see.
If that makes sense, if that's all kosher.
Yeah, I mean, it's not kosher, but yeah, no,
Okay,
that makes sense.
I'm glad it makes sense. But yeah, I'll let you move on.
Okay, so my other one was Professor Layton, so it was
right.
on Nintendo DS, I think.
One of the cool games I cried about that I couldn't play.
Was it?
Basically.
Oh, it was so
My son's
good.
over here playing Simpsons Road Rage on the Game Boy, which is not the best way of playing that game.
Oh no, it was so good. So you just about go around, you have like loads of little mini games or clues and stuff like that, and you have to find clues and all of that. I mean, some of them were really difficult. Where like even when I was younger, I would ask my mum like, how do I work out this puzzle? And she
that was
didn't
that
even know.
like weird era of games where they were like, how about what if video games were all educational and they just contributed to it, because they made like that, was it like Dr. Something's Brain Training and stuff like that?
That was great. Oh yeah, I had that as well.
That was though.
Yeah.
That was another game which I was just really annoyed.
I love
that
how
I couldn't
you
have.
like. I had like Sudoku on like my Nintendo, like the Brain Training, like the Professor Layton, and you
and
had
that is why you're
Crash
such a brain
Bandicoot.
box now.
And
I was over here
Simpsons.
playing the worst Crash Bandicoot game, whilst you're over there like just doing a spelling bee every day of your life. So I've got Time Splitters 3 Future Perfect. I doubt you'd ever.
No,
yeah,
I've never.
So
Yeah.
that was like it was a shooting game, but it's a third in the franchise, but it was the best one.
Was it?
I had all three of them, but like it was one of the first like PS2 games which had like major online.
Okay.
And it also had, and it came out on GameCube as well, but it had like a crazy campaign about sort of fighting some time. Well, it was like a comedy shooter game.
Okay.
So like, for example, online you could play as like a bear in a fez with like an AK-47, and you could be hunting cyborg monkeys. But it was all very graphic and very gory, but very gory for the time. When I first played it around my like cousin, I can't remember which cousin it was. That I played it round, and I thought it was like, dope, this is really cool, because you could play like offline against like bots and stuff as well, which what I used to do as like a kid.
Because you had no friends.
Because I had literally no friends, because I played Crash Bash all the time. And I played it for 15 hours in one day, and I had nightmares for like a week because I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Like I had like game overload.
The bear in the fez? You were like...
Yeah, because I thought I became the bear in the fez, but like I looked back on my like PS2 on my old memory card about like how much time you put into it, because it was one of the first games as well which like tracked all your stats, like how many kills and all the rest of it. And like my time spent on it was like 40 days, like 48 days.
So what you're saying was Time Splitter was ahead of the game.
It was it was the Call of Duty for the finer folks.
Yeah.
It was mwah, chef's kiss.
I've got, what other one do I have? Oh, Zelda. No, actually, to be fair, that's two. But again, it's just Wii and Nintendo. But
yeah,
Zelda and Animal Crossing, and I couldn't pick between the two because I know we said like three.
Yeah.
But
which Zelda's your favourite? Well, the latest, the one the Switch one.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called.
Wild Wind.
Yeah, I know which one you mean.
Like that.
Yeah, you did plough hours into that.
Oh my god, I did.
We nearly broke up over that.
It was worth it. And the Animal Crossing ones were when I was some of the old Animal Crossing games on Wii, but they were just dope. Yeah. I don't know, there's just something so satisfying about just living a day-to-day mundane life and picking your turnips and apples and
having the crippling existential crisis.
That's exactly what it is. You're like, that character will live on forever, even when I'm
gone.
Even when my village will stand.
My village will still stand, as prosperous and tall. And what about Zelda? Like, I mean, Zelda, to me, it kind of seems like your sort of game because it's got some puzzles and stuff in it, which is your type of
Zelda
thing,
was like, a mix of everything. Like, you had that. Oh my god, I'm like, Zelda's a mix of everything. No, it had like the adventure. No, it had the puzzles and stuff like that. It had some of shooty, well, not shooty stuff, but my idea of shooty stuff that's not graphic, and you got your bow and arrow and stuff like that. Yeah. But it was just fun to. These are just games you can plough hours in without thinking about.
I just think like I just
when
always
your dad's
struggle,
beating you, you can just go. I mean,
but I just had a. I could never get into the controls of it. I always thought it was a bit like googly, the controls.
No.
But then I've just like, unless the Switch game is an absolute arcade game, I'm not usually very good at them.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense. And the last one I've got is Wii Sports.
Oh, Wii Sports was great.
Nobody gives enough credit to Wii Sports being the pinnacle of gaming.
Yeah. It was only downhill from there.
Yeah, bowling, boxing, baseball, golf, all top tier sports.
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica. Everybody's favourite stuff. But yeah, I mean, also Wii Sports Resort, just a cheeky extra which they had. You know, when they added like the extra like super sensitive bits which you plugged into the controllers.
Wii Sports was great because you could like just play it with everyone, couldn't you? And it was just very nice.
It was really good. And then they brought out like Wii Fit, as if like everybody thought Wii Sports was good because it was exercising, when it was actually good just because you could like beat the shit out of your nan in boxing and not feel any remorse. So yeah, that was probably my last one. Have you got any others, or is that?
No, I mean I've got so many, but that will just go on. Yeah,
naturally.
Yeah.
So moving on, we've got the worst video games that we've ever played.
Okay, so I feel like people are just going to hate me about this, but it is Spyro. It's the original Spyro. So like when I was young,
as in the remastered one?
No, the remastered one.
Oh, the remastered
the new one.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, I played all the original Spyros and stuff. Absolutely loved them. Like Spyro is great. And then I had so many good reviews about the new Spyro and stuff like that. So we got it a few months ago.
Yeah, it was super cheap on the PS.
Yeah, and it was like just bad.
It was hard. It was
really hard. It was, and the only like good thing about it was Jermaine was one of the dragons,
which is quite unusual. But but like it was really hard, but not in the sense that like the new Crash Bandicoot remake was really hard, but it was like fun, challenging hard. Yeah. Spyro was like, it really just felt like you couldn't do stuff because it was like locked off because it was like glitchy. Yeah,
it was really glitchy. Like I didn't particularly like the storyline. Like I know a lot of the storylines is, the dragons and stuff freeze and bits like that, and that's fine, but it just didn't flow at all.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah, I definitely like couldn't get into it at all. I mean, I never really played them as a kid anyway. I was clearly a Crash Bash man. A one game only man. But yeah, I didn't really like, even the way that, like, for a remaster, it still looked quite clunky. Like
it did. It looked really clunky. It looked
kind of pointless.
But yeah, it seemed to get really good reviews. So I don't know. I might have missed something on it, but it just wasn't for me at all.
Yeah. So mine, starting strong here, is Rugby 18.
Oh, there
Got
we
Rugby
go.
18 as a Christmas present from my mum, and like I've been wanting. I mean, at that point, it'd been 10 years since there'd been a good rugby game, and I already knew it was absolute trash, which is why I didn't buy it. But my mum, being a mum, was like, "You like rugby? You love video games? How about we mesh them both? Look at this game; it's great." And I was like, "Oh god, this is hideous!" Like all the animations are from like early PS2 era.
Yeah.
Like all the teams are just like wrong because they haven't got any of the licensing for the team. So they got the licensing for like the Premiership, but they don't have the licensing for like England rugby.
Yeah.
So you'd have all the players in their normal positions playing for their normal teams in the Premiership, but you couldn't even pick them for the international team, so it was completely pointless. And it was just so ugly and didn't control well, and like it was so annoying because I was like, finally, if we might get something that can match like a FIFA or something.
Yeah.
But no, it actually turned people away.
Yeah, I bet your mum's going to like listen to this with a single tear.
Yeah, like, I can't believe you didn't like. I thought I killed it, and she must have, because it just come out, because like the rugby games, they don't come out like FIFA does, like just ahead of the season. They come out at like the end of the year, which is like really weird. Like Rugby 18 came out at like the end of like 2018 or something, and I think that was due to delays and stuff. So like it was even behind FIFA coming out. Like it took longer, and it was there's no even like competition or anything like that. But yeah, that was dreadful. But
any other games?
I've got a couple.
Yeah,
because I've been well engrossed within the terrible gaming sphere. So I got Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring. So hear me out, right?
That. Okay.
I used to have all the Lord of the Rings like PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah.
So the Two Towers and Return of the King, super dope, like proper like beat me up games. Like they were like a bit like slasher, like a bit like the old God of War games.
Yeah.
A bit like that really. And they had all the campaign, and they used to like meld bits of like cutscenes to parts of the movie as well, and that was really cool. But then I also played a Lord of the Rings the Third Age, which was a bit like a Final Fantasy game, but for Lord of the Rings. So it changed like the fighting to like a Final Fantasy / like Pokemon type way of playing.
Ooh.
And that was okay. It was slightly different, but the first game that came out of all of them was movie licensed, but it was done by a different studio, and it was like a kids game. So like the Two Towers and the Return of the King, they were proper like 18. Like they were probably rated higher than the films.
Yeah,
were,
they were really gory.
Because they were a bit more.
Yeah.
Well, they were just a bit more violent, I guess, because you're doing it yourself. But the Fellowship of the Ring it tried to be like Fable. So it looked like it had like the arts.
I forgot about Fable. I loved Fable.
Yeah, I never really, because I didn't have Xbox, so I just had PlayStation, so I never really played Fable. But it tried to look like Fable, despite the other games looking like mature, like proper sort of artsy games.
Yeah.
But it was so far behind. I was trying to piggytail off the back of it. It was really ugly, and I played it for about like 2 or 3 hours when I first bought it, because I was like, oh my god, I finally get to complete the trilogy, but even though I've done it in reverse.
Yeah.
And it was awful. And then the last one I got, which was fairly recent, and that was free on the PS4 Game Store, and this what kind of peeved me off.
It's not Goat Simulator, is it?
It's not Goat Simulator. People like Goat Simulator. I just can't be bothered to play that sort of stuff. It's not Farming Simulator either, funny enough. It's that Monster Energy Supercross.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, I remember you.
Yeah,
you
Monster Energy
that.
made it's like a trialsy sort of. Well, it's a Supercross game.
Yeah.
So, but there's only like one map, or like there's a couple of maps, but they all look the same. But nothing handles properly.
Yeah.
It took forever to download. It takes forever to like get into like a race as well, because one, either no one's playing it, and two, like the servers don't work. But it's now really popular on the store. Like, it's one of the most popular games. I'm like, this is dreadful.
Weird, yeah.
I think it was just because it was free and everyone likes a racing game to just get into. But yeah, that one was dreadful.
I had a thought. Speaking about Lord of the Rings, was another one that was really bad. Did you ever play any of the Harry Potter games?
I played some of them. So I played some of them on GameCube, and I played some of them on PS2 as well.
Yeah, there was one on PS2, I think, because I remember going to my cousins or something and playing it, and I think it might have been like, I don't know if it's Half-Blood Prince or Prisoner of Azkaban or something.
Don't know.
One of the two, I think. And it was just hideous to look at.
Yeah.
It was so dirty, and it just didn't work, and it just ruined Harry Potter for me. But that was one of one I hated.
I played a couple of them. Some were quite good. Like, some were like surprisingly immersive and for like video game movies.
Yeah.
Or movie video games rather. I thought they were okay, but they did make like a Quidditch one, which is like a Quidditch tournament one, and that was dreadful. I mean, not as bad as Rugby 18. Even that seemed more like a real sport than Rugby 18 did, but yeah, that one was particularly bad. Yeah. But they made a load of those games.
They did. They made, that's why I was trying to remember which one it was, but they made so many of them. It's just such a, I don't know, when they do from movies to games.
Well, there's never really been that many great ones. I mean, there was GoldenEye, which was meant to be good, but then that was before my time, really. Yeah. The Lord of the Rings ones, a couple of them were really good. I can't remember any others which they've actually made, which apparently the Deadpool one, which they made a while ago, but that's not actually a movie video game, because I think the video game might have even come out before the movie, and it's got like a different story, but that was meant to be okay. But all the rest of them, like, they suck. But being a kid and being an absolute sucker, I used to buy all of them. And I'll tell you what video game I did have, which was surprisingly good for a movie video game, and that was Eragon. So Eragon is like the biggest box office.
You nerd! I know Eragon because I read the book first, then the movie came out. I was like,
so I'm the nerd, but yeah, it was a massive bomb. Even though I quite like the movie, it's got Jeremy Irons.
Oh yeah, it does. I like the movie.
I thought the movie was quite good. But yeah, they made a video game for it, and it was actually I thought it was really good. It was quite difficult. I don't think I ever completed it, but then the film ends on a cliffhanger. Like, it just ends before the stuff is really beginning to happen.
Do you know when you feel like those memories when you look back as a childhood and you just have like flashing images?
Yeah.
I feel like I might have played Eragon like briefly. I'm just trying to remember, but I think I probably played it.
Another one I remember being like really hard was so there was a couple of Pirates of the Caribbean games, and they were again like surprisingly quite good.
Yeah.
But they were really difficult as well. But they were terribly voice acted. They had like impersonators doing, or impressionists.
They need anime impersonators for that.
Well, are there any successful anime video games? There probably are.
There's loads, but I've just never played them. But I would like to, actually, because I feel like that would be quite good, but they do like loads on every single like anime and movie.
They're the only thing that I think could like successfully translate back over to video game, because obviously they've got such like long, comprehensive stories with background and stuff.
A lot of the like anime video games are actually made then into an anime.
Yeah.
So they start off as like either like they might even
manga and then a video game and a movie,
or
and then back again, or
it might just purely be a video game which then someone does a manga on.
Yeah.
And then it goes into, so they do like, I think Japan does all three kind of, you know, mediums so well together. Like they're the only ones that really can kind of get video, you know, books, comic books, and you know, anime and TV shows and movies and stuff like that work so well together. Yeah, it doesn't quite work as well here or in America.
Are you trying to say that it would work better than our Hollywoodized mega movies?
I am.
Well, you're wrong. That's the worst part. So, I mean, that sort of leads on to the next thing, which was the movies that we want to be made into a video game. So everyone always talks about like, what video games would make a good movie, and they always say like Assassin's Creed, and that was like that was awful.
Yeah, that was really bad.
It's really difficult to translate a video game into a movie anyway, because a video game is obviously like 10 to 15 hours of playing in a campaign, and you're trying to put that into like an hour or 2 hour movie. But what about a movie that you make into a video game, so you have to stretch it out?
Okay, straight up. Upgrade.
Okay. Upgrade is a great shout, actually.
Yeah.
Upgrade to like so it's a low budget, I think it was made for like $1 million sort of action film. It was made by the guy who did Invisible Man.
Yeah, it was.
Which is all about it's a bit like a RoboCop sort of thing. So he gets like a chip in his neck.
He gets a chip and he's like, really crazy quick. I mean, the camera angles and everything was just so immense
cool.
in it.
So you probably make that with like, you know, like the Batman Arkham Asylum,
that's
like
exactly
fighting,
what
or
I
like
thought.
Assassin's Creed, like sort of fighting style. The only thing with that though is that you'd have to create like some big like background lore of it, because that film is very much like a self-contained story. But
wouldn't that work out better with a video game? Because like, you can just have it as like a one-off kind of thing where you just, you know, I don't know, they're trying to get to the chip or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I feel
like it would be dope.
It would be dope, or it would be horrible, or they would make it. And
We've
it would just
already
be terrible.
agreed that anything we say here, because it's, you know, British American Hollywood, is going to be shit.
It's probably going to be terrible. It's probably going to be an absolutely terrible video game. So I've kind of got something fairly similar, which is John Wick.
Oh, John Wick, that's
Because John Wick, I was like, this is easy, because they themselves know there isn't much story to it, but like there is a big background thing to it all, and there is like lots of different subcultures within this like organization that are all assassins.
John Wick would be really cool, because you could do different characters in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you got the fighting dogs and stuff, and all that sort of stuff.
You could pick your little like animal, or you have like dogs or horse. I mean,
John Wick does ride a horse at one point. You can anything's a weapon as well. It could be like Hitman. It could be like Assassin's Creed meets Hitman, where you got like lots of like hand-to-hand combat and stuff. But you could pick up like a tin of beans and just chuck them at a dude's face.
I would just love for like the first bit when you go into the screen and stuff and you pick your character, for then you to pick your dog with it. Yeah, like that's perfect. They all have different dogs anyway, and dogs are such an integral part. Like, how dope would that be, going into a video game and picking your version of dog that can bite someone's bloody arm off?
That would be pretty cool. Have you got any others?
Yeah, Overlord.
Oh, so Overlord is a tricky one, because that, like, a lot of people said that was based off of Nazi zombies from Call of Duty. Yeah, but it's a bit different, I guess. Like it's its own story, but that was such a good movie.
It was such a good movie, and like just purely because COD's already done it type thing, I kind of know what it could be like. But I don't know. I feel like it would be good to have that as a full campaign type thing, because isn't the Nazi zombies only as a
I mean, it's got like really little missiony bits, but it's got a story behind it, but it's very like fickle. Like it's not a campaign.
So it would be nice to have like a full campaign on it, like as a full game.
There's loads of stuff you could do with Overlord as well, because like it's all based in like this village, and the village is quite a large village. You probably make it into like a Resident Evil type of thing, where it's like survival horror-y.
Yeah, but Silent Hill did a movie. Not Silent Hill. What was that? There was a video game. I know it might have been Silent Hill.
Silent Hill has been made into a couple of movies,
Yeah, because that was a video game first, wasn't
it? Yeah.
So it could be kind of almost that kind of vibe.
Yeah. So I mean, it would be that sort of Silent Hill-y vibe, and because it would be like that, but set in like the 40s, which would be cool, with like archaic weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
And you could make it like co-op, because you can make it into that sort of Nazi zombies like survive until the end type of thing as well.
Yeah.
So there's lots of stuff you could do with it.
Yeah,
I'd
you
be
like
down
that
for
idea?
I do. I like that idea. 'Cause that's one which like it's so obvious that you don't think about
exactly,
it. But
yeah.
then it's
and then you're like, oh crap, that would make a great game.
Yeah, definitely. I've then got the raid.
The raid would be so dope.
Because
working up each floor
yeah,
type
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a donkey, like original Donkey Kong, but
yes,
beating the crap out of
so
people.
good.
And again, like you'd just be using like
it would just be Hitman style where you
you
pick
just use
stuff up.
picking stuff up, and then like a lot of button bashing combos. You could. What if you made like a raid, but the main people in it was like a Street Fighter game, so like a platform Street Fighter
that would
game.
Be so good.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that. Have you got any others?
No, I couldn't really think of any others.
So the last one I've got is Dread. Because I thought Dread's a bit like the raid, and it's a bit like John Wick.
Yeah, you've got a best of both worlds.
Obviously, it's a comic book as well, so you've got loads of black background stuff, and you can pick like any story from any comic book. So you don't even have to go off the movie. But the movie was really cool because it like showcases like multi-gun usage thing.
Yeah,
and it's all like self-contained with against that one organization or that one like drugs bust which he was doing. Obviously you got like the dodgy dreads as well. You know, the dodgy judges who turn up. But I thought that would be really
that
cool.
would be really, really cool. That would be. Have they not made a game already about that?
I don't think they made Dread into a game.
No.
But it would be super violent. It'd be super gory.
Yeah.
Because that movie's mega gory.
Yeah, no, but that would make a great game.
It would make a
really good game.
So we can move on from that one. And with the last one we've got on the list is hardest game that you've ever played. And I've got a couple. So how many do you have?
So I've got a couple, which are ones I've already spoken about earlier.
Okay.
So Professor Layton.
Yeah, it is a puzzle game. I mean, puzzle games. I should have really thought about puzzle games, because puzzle games are made to be like really hard.
Yeah. Well, I just remember like my mum is obviously she's very practical, intelligent, and things like that. She does all of those puzzle type things, and I just remember being young and like every single bloody day I used to like play the game, and I go, oh, can you give me a hand with this? And she was like, I don't have a bloody clue. And you had to like Google so many times where you're like, I'm literally been on this for an entire week and I can't think of what it is. And I don't know if it's held up now. I don't know if I'll play it, again.
It's probably still really tricky. I think they're made for adults as well, so I don't think it's going to be any less tricky.
Yeah, I think it was like very difficult to get in without at least looking at one spoiler.
Yeah.
Like, you had to look at one, because I just don't know how you would have got through
It'd be too tough otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great shout, to be fair. I mean, all those like brain training ones and stuff are quite difficult.
What's your one?
So my first one is Neo.
Neo?
Oh, yeah, Neo is so hard.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, so me and Lulu, we played it side by side, basically. So we're over, like, PS4 chat, and then we're both going through the campaign at the same time. And despite both of us literally dying in the first level, 150, 200 times, having to do it over, like, 3 nights as well.
I
just
remember
the first
you
level,
getting so frustrated.
Literally, just unable to kill the first boss for, like 300 attempts each. We were both like going like stage by stage together, so we were neck and neck, like going through the campaign together, despite both of us dying like 300, 400 times. So it's not just a case of one of us being bad at the video game.
Yeah,
it's just really hard,
bloody difficult,
and it doesn't get like any easy. Like you pick up gear where you think like, oh, I'm going to be tougher now, I'm going to be quicker, but things still kill you in 2 hits. Like it takes like 5 hits to kill like a regular soldier, a foot soldier there, but the foot soldier can kill you in like 2 hits.
2 hits, yeah.
And even when you upgrade your stuff, it's like 4 hits, and he still kills you in 2 hits.
Yeah.
It was so difficult, but it's such a good game though. Like there's not much.
It's very pretty as well. Like I like the the action thing. It's fun to watch. Like when I'm not playing it and you're playing it type. Like it's really interesting to watch.
It's a bit like that one of those like God of War type games where like it's quite cool to watch.
Yeah.
But I haven't played the second one, but I know that's just come out. I don't know how difficult that one is.
No. So another one is one that I didn't actually play myself, but I watched you play. Super Meat Boy.
Super Meat Boy is well hard. Well, the thing is, it's actually not that hard once you've completed it a couple of times.
No,
but like it's a real like trial and error. So it's the like first time you just pick up the controller to play it, then it is hard. Like no matter what.
Yeah, I just remember like when we first got together and you were playing it type thing, and you used to just try and get through like levels that you just died every time.
I know, because
it took ages.
Well, the thing is, people like don't give it credit for how hard it is now, because there's so many people who just like speed run it in like 20 minutes. But then they've been playing it's been out for like 5 years.
Exactly, it has to be when you first like play it that you're like,
That was like the first game I got free on the PS4 free stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was really tough.
You did spend hours on it as
yeah,
well.
Yeah,
That's
I had to spend hours on it.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
So, what's your...
So I've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. So they added Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered to the free PS4 bit. And it obviously came out like a year or two ago from like popular demand. And it was a game I obviously used to play a lot as a teenager. Used to whip it out.
Yeah.
Like, used to have like a 1.4 KD, which back in the day that was bragging rights. That was a big deal. Put like 20.
You got all the girls with that.
Yeah, put all the girls with that and Crash Bash.
Yeah.
But I put like 26 days into that, and used to be like really good at it. And then when it came to Modern Warfare Remastered, everyone just seemed to have gotten so much better in that time. It could be me getting worse, but I'm gonna say that everyone got better in that time, because. Obviously, if you try and play the original now, it's just full of like people glitching and stuff, so it's impossible to like kill anyone. But the remastered version, like everybody's just on a level playing field, and everybody's proper MLG. They're proper good.
Yeah.
And I tried playing with like Lulu and Kieran, and I think on our first game we had like combined kills of like 11 and combined deaths of over 50. So, and also they've got that little tiny map which is just like the cargo map, and you literally can't survive for longer than 2 or 3 seconds. It's ridiculous.
I do think people like get like crazy good. Like you look at like how Fortnite players and stuff play. You're like, how do they do it so quickly and so fast?
Have you seen the way I play Warzone?
I mean, sorry,
I'm something else. Have you seen me on Apex? There's no competition, but I can't hide in Modern Warfare. That's the only problem. Whereas Warzone or any other Battle Royale game, I just loot up.
Yeah, you
hide,
are such a
loot
wuss.
Up. I'm a big wuss. I'm a big wuss when it comes to any video game.
Yeah, you fully
But I'm
hide.
terrible at stealth games, so I'm a wuss that can't hide, right? So
that's the worst.
Even when I was like, remember when I used to play Hitman? I was absolutely awful. Just
Hitman
terrible.
was pretty hard as well, actually.
Hitman was quite hard, but the old Hitmans were probably slightly harder than the new one.
Yeah.
But they were pretty hard. Have you got any others?
No, apart from the one that like we spoke about earlier, which was also Spyro. We already touched on the fact that it was just difficult. But I think that might have been more because it glitched out a lot than it actually being a difficult game itself.
And stuff and that were like genuinely impossible.
It was the time trials. It wasn't so much like the story part of it,
fine,
but it was the time trials that you're just like
really tricky.
Yeah, how would you do that?
The last one I've got is mega nerdy.
Which one?
So I played a game called Blitzkrieg.
Oh.
And it was a strategy game on PC.
Oh no.
So I used to be well into strategy games. I played like all the Dawn of War games. I played Sudden Strike.
Oh my god.
I played like all like Cossacks as well. All these strategy games, everything from pirates to medieval dudes to shooty dudes. And I played a game called Blitzkrieg, which is a bit like Sudden Strike.
Yeah.
It's like they're really close with like their languages. So for example, if you play it's like the Germans in it, all of them just speak German. There's like no subtitles or anything for you to understand what it is. So they're all shouting like schnell and langsam and stuff, and I'm like fast.
You just want an excuse to get your German in
I mean,
there.
I can flex it now because I know what it is, but it's come about 12 years too late because I was quite young playing it. But yeah, that was really difficult. I used to be too afraid to play the campaign, so I used to play like skirmish mode, just to go against the computer and just have one-off battles and like sort of strategiise on how I'm going to then play the campaign. But I never got around to the campaign because it's too hard.
Of course you didn't.
Too hard, too worried. So and like it was so difficult that my dad then started playing it, and I would, like used to watch him like note stuff down. Like he knows what he's doing.
Did you have a little notebook?
I had a little notebook, and then I go to them play it myself, and I'd just be an absolute moron. And just like, why are my snipers not killing these tanks? So that was pretty dreadful. But yeah, I think that's about it for the hardest games I've ever played. I mean, there's been others which are tricky. Like God of War was difficult when you play it on the hard mode.
Yeah.
So I played that through on its regular. Well, it was on the hard mode from it, and obviously you had to tell me how to skill up in a certain section, so I did everything underskilled.
Yeah, you did. I mean, there was like the first Valkyrie one that was
First Valkyrie was really hard,
particularly difficult, and then it got easy after that. But I don't know whether that was just purely because you didn't realise you hadn't skilled up.
I didn't realise that you could skill up certain bits, and then also like you just get used to like a certain approach, like button layout wise, and I think it's got like a really good combat system, so that's not as difficult as others which I would probably play. I mean, to be honest, so I used to play Team Fortress as well, which was difficult if it's just like I'm just going to pick up a controller and play it today, because like everybody is super good at that. I don't know how many people play it now. I know I used to play it with Rick like every single day, And I got to the point where I was like good enough to be part of like tournaments and stuff with him, because he was playing like tournaments, like he was actually playing like proper video game tournaments in it. And that one was really tricky. That was like an itchy trigger shooter game.
Yeah.
Sort of cartoony, but yeah, I plowed many days into that. But that was difficult.
Many days, many hours.
But I hate those games where you put like all those hours. Like I mean, Warzone, for example, I probably put like 2 days worth of time into that now. I'm still terrible.
Yeah, I feel like you can play and
just
not get much
better.
better.
Look at Rocket League.
I was going to say Rocket League is a prime
Rocket League's
example.
a good example because like when you play against people who are genuinely good, Rocket League is really hard.
Yeah.
But I put in enough hours into it where I can win like about 55 to 60% of my games, which is actually considered like really good.
Good, yeah.
So like anything above 50% is considered like you're decent.
I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of people let you down, aka me when I play.
You, Kieran, clearly Kieran.
I mean, Lulu's sometimes good, sometimes
Lulu's
bad.
Yeah, he's banging when he plays.
Yeah. So maybe it's just me and Kieran.
Yeah, maybe I need to
God,
swap
he's
out the rest of Blade Breakers.
Kill us at. I've put him at the same level as me at Rocket League.
That's a pretty damning representation of the way our Rocket League team sits at the moment. But yeah, I think that's about it for my hardest games.
Yeah.
I think
that's our little chat today, I reckon.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with some other ideas for next time. But I think about 3 or 4 questions usually works best.
Yep, definitely.
So yeah.
Okay.
We'll say sayonara.
Sayonara.